We tap, like you said, about 23 to 25,000 trees. Every single one has a little tap that goes in it, so luckily I've got a really good team.
A look back on the top podcast episodes of 2023. This is Pocono Mountains Podcast, Season 3, Episode 32. I'm Jim Hamill. There's a little more than a week left in 2023. Winter is here, and, well, we love winter for all the great skiing, snowboarding, snow tubing, and so much more. But hey, it's okay to look forward to spring, especially if we're talking about delicious Poconos-made maple syrup. We visited Pocono Mountain Maple earlier this year to see the operation, learn about the spectacular property, and sample the goods. And just recently, Nicole from Pocono Mountain Maple gifted me some tasty syrup that I had for some homemade French toast. Plus, that episode was the second most listened to episode of the year, so we'll have more on that in a bit. The Poconos is a year-round destination for millions, with 2,400 square miles of mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers, with historic downtowns and iconic family resorts. It's the perfect getaway. You can always find out more on PoconoMountains.com or watch PTN, the Pocono Television Network, streaming live 24/7. And before we get back to the episode, I also want to urge our listeners to go to PoconoMountains.com/rail, a big announcement made within the last couple weeks here about the next steps taking place to restore passenger rail service to the Pocono Mountains, Scranton, all the way to New York City. And that is a huge step forward for the funding of that rail service that will once again be restored as early as 2028, according to Congressman Matt Cartwright, who was part of a Pocono Mountains Visitors Bureau-sponsored rail rally at Kalahari Resorts. Once again, PoconoMountains.com/rail to learn more. Well, I know it's just the beginning of winter, but eventually warm days will make the sap flow from all the maple trees all across the Poconos. There are many ways you can experience the flavors of maple syrup produced right here in the Poconos, and one of those locations, a sprawling maple farm, hosted us for a segment on Pocono Mountains Magazine for March in 2023. Here's a listen once again. Enjoy. Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. It's your host, Jim Hamill here, and we are at Lake Russell. This place is so expansive, and I'm here with Nicole. Nicole, this is your place that you have taken so much care to bring about like an experience for people to come on out here during maple season. Right now you have how many trees tapped here, you know?
About 23 to 25,000.
That's all.
Every given year it changes a little bit.
And tell me then what this place is all about for what you guys do every season here. And this is really near Greentown, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Near Greentown. So every season, basically spring season, we start tapping trees, and we tap, like you said, about 23 to 25,000 trees. Every single one has a little tap that goes in it, so luckily I've got a really good team that does most of the hard work for us. And then when it's beautiful like it is today, we're pulling in sap and cooking it down and making fresh syrup from the Pocono Mountains.
And just a few miles long of tap lines, right?
About 350 miles of tapping.
Oh my gosh.
Like this way.
So 350 miles of tap lines.
Yeah.
And that's something that you guys have to go out there and do. It's not just like set up year round, right? That's an actual labor of love.
Yes, no, for sure. And we wholesale majority of our product, and we keep about 10% of it to sell locally. But yeah, it's a true labor of love. By the time you add in all the guys' hours and you know how much it costs for gas, to all the expenses, you're like, oh my goodness. But the product is just so amazing, and I think, like we were talking about earlier, is, you know, just having that education behind it, and you know, showing people, you know, this is, you know, what maple syrup is, and even maple water, you know, telling them a little bit more about maple water and what that is. And my background's kind of health and nutrition, so I'm kind of fascinated with, you know, obviously using natural sweeteners and things like that. So it's been great to kind of expand upon that knowledge base that I already have.
And we just came from an area where you can actually stay on the farm here and immerse yourself in what is a beautiful, expansive nature surrounding. You said the fall time here is amazing.
Oh, the fall is gorgeous. Yeah, you can't beat it. You know, sit around a fire pit.
Cabins, right? Like where you can have the family set up. You got bunk beds and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we've got family reunions that come in. We've had a 75th birthday for some locals. They stayed here for the whole long weekend. So it's been great, and you see that families get a really great opportunity to have some great quality time. Right. As you see, it's very relaxed here. So there's you know, you go sit by the lake, you read a book, you get to have, you know, some good talks with your family and play. We've got a playground up there. We've got swings kind of throughout the property that you can kind of play on. So kids absolutely love it.
And we're just coming up on something that looks relatively new. This is a boathouse?
Nope. So this is actually, the boathouse is next.
No, boathouse is next. Sorry.
This is our main house. So this is the lake house here.
Oh.
So we do overflow. So if somebody rents the campground and they've got elderly people staying with them or just want the convenience of being in a house, you do have the opportunity to rent the lake house. This is actually here when we did it. There's a fun story behind it. So it started out actually as a pavilion, as you can see the octagon there. So it started off as a pavilion. They added bedrooms so that way they could stay over on the lake.
Yeah.
And then this section here, they added a kitchen. And then as the couple got a little bit older, they needed a bedroom on the bottom floor. So then they kind of added that extension. And then so the last 2 years, we've been completely under construction, redoing siding and the entire internal of the house. So about $2 million renovation, roughly. And it's still not done. We're still finishing the back deck, but it should be done. They tell me no later than the end of March. So. Okay.
All right. We'll hold you to it.
Yeah, it's a lot to have you guys come back. We'll do a tour of the lake house as well.
Yeah, because this episode will air the podcast in March, the Pocono Mountains Magazine episode in March. So that's really when you guys crank up that season of letting people come on out to the Sugar Shack and see how this process firsthand is done.
Yeah, no. Definitely.
Which days of the week do you guys have those open houses, if you will?
Generally, it's Thursdays and Fridays. Generally, if it's a larger group, we do recommend calling and reserving.
Right.
So that way we've got time to set aside. We are a family-run business, so, you know, staffing is always a big thing, especially when it comes to, you know, we've got 450 acres that are here. So there's always something that needs to get done. So there's not always somebody that's at the store or at the Sugar Shack. So calling ahead is definitely key, so that way you catch us and reserve your spot. But generally Thursdays and Fridays, all throughout March, we generally do tours for everybody.
And there's also the open house for the maple producers all throughout the region too. So you guys will be on that map as well for people to come here, go there, and kind of see different operations throughout the Pocono Mountains. And that's really a great weekend trip for a family to do if they just want to get out in their own backyard and kind of see what's happening out here, especially as the weather breaks too.
This is perfect. And then we also have the orchard. The orchard's behind us.
Okay.
We've got about 250 apple trees roughly in there, cherry trees, peach trees. So in the fall, it's always fun to come, and we've got anyone that stays on property is more than welcome to go sit in the orchard and read a book. And you know, we do make some cider that's here as well. So that's always fun.
What do you guys do here?
I don't know. I feel like we do a little bit of everything. We try to stay as busy as possible, but we have a lot of fun too. We enjoy being a part of the community. It's been great. So this is the new boathouse that we just put in.
It says boathouse.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for me. All right, so that's definitely the boathouse, and it's I mean spectacular for anybody listening here on the podcast. The visual, let's walk on down there. But the visual here is just so serene and placid. I really can't say that enough about what your property is like here, and obviously what you guys try to do for your visitors and your guests, and for the local area here.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys coming out. You know, it's been great to kind of share it with you guys as well as, you know, the community and as a whole. But it's beautiful. You know, we love sharing the property, and it's fun when we get bigger groups from New York, and, you know, even youth groups from New York, and you know, they come in and, you know, they've never been somewhere that's this
Yeah.
quiet,
Yeah.
that is this kind of remote, and they're just in awe. And then if they do a tour, like if it's during the summer and we've got the garden going, you know, they get to go through the garden and pick their own vegetables, and the orchard, they get to pick their own apples, or if they come this season, they get to see the maple getting produced.
Yeah.
So it's really kind of fourfold. So it's fun.
I would have to say, book us a stay here. We'll bring the Rugrats, or maybe we'll leave them at home, and really kind of just come out and that calmness, that peacefulness too. But just knowing that, okay, if I get tired of that, I can go do something. Yeah.
No, like I was telling you, Mohegan's like 20 minutes away, or not Mohegan, Mount Airy. Mount Airy Casino is 20 minutes away.
Right.
You've got Camelback, that's also about 20, 30 minutes away. So you're pretty close to, like, if you really want to go get out and do something, you can.
Yeah.
But we've also got 450 acres to go and explore and hike and have fun. Yeah.
I'm really taken aback. You know, I've traveled a lot of our Pocono Mountains here, and this is like kind of like this hidden gem, right? It's on a dirt road, right? And you have to get through GPS really to get here.
Yeah.
But once you are here, I mean, look at what you have here. It's really spectacular. So
Thank you.
thank you for sharing it with all of us.
Yeah, no.
So people can find out more online. How can they learn more about Lake Russell here and what you guys have at the farm?
Yeah, following us on social media is always, key. That's how you know kind of what events we have coming up. We do try to partner with the community. Sometimes we do. We usually do a holiday open house where we'll have snowmaking contest. We'll do cooking, maple cooking classes as well. So definitely following us online on social. We also post on our website. We're in the process of kind of rebuilding and rebranding our website, but that'll be all up as well. So kind of following us that way, and then just contacting us if you guys are interested in, staying. We're kind of open. We actually have a couple people that are getting married this fall here.
I was going to say, this is almost like I can hear the wedding bells.
Yeah. And what's great is you can have your whole family stay here, have a really long week or weekend with your whole family and be able to kind of treasure those moments, and then, get married with all your friends and everything in the main field, along with, this looks very bare right now,
Right.
but in the spring it's so green and gorgeous. And then, come, October, it's reds and yellows and oranges, and it's just really spectacular. So,
Wow.
yeah. And there's a lot of wildlife too. Like I was telling you guys earlier, we've got an eagle that comes through here almost every day.
That's amazing.
Hawks and birds and all kinds of deer, critters, all kinds of good stuff. There's a little red fox that usually runs. He likes to eat our chickens though, so we don't like him as much.
Yeah,
But
that's the downsides of nature and wildlife, but
it happens.
at the same time, it makes things interesting.
Yes, exactly. There's always something happening here. Always.
Well, Nicole, thank you again for having us here on Pocono Mountains Podcast. Of course, people could check you out online on social media, and then, of course, on PoconoMountains.com.
Yeah.
And please come on out and visit the farm here. The Sugar Shack will be ready, and so will the store, as you can sample a lot of the tasty treats that they have here. Again, thank you for listening to Pocono Mountains Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Hamill. We'll be seeing you guys soon.
Thanks.
We hope you enjoyed Pocono Mountains Podcast. Please remember to subscribe anywhere podcasts are available. Come visit us in the Pocono Mountains. Plan your trip today.